17th of December, Rabbi Furst, Parsha Hashevua, Vayechi.
Good morning, Rabbi Furst.
Good morning, Roy. How are you? Good morning, Lou. Okay. Very good. Morning, this is Rabbi. We're recording. Okay. Good morning, it's Rabbi Shlomo Furst here at Yeshiva Tzavanashi here on the Yerushalayim Care of Zoom. Erev Shabbos, Parshas Vayechi. Shana Tavshin Pei Beis. Okay. I'd like to begin with the psukim here that right sort of there in the beginning of the parsha. If you see by to start where it's the memches, the beginning of the parsha. Vayehi acher devarim ha'ela, right?
No, Memches, did you say?
Yes, Perik memches.
Perik Ches. I don't know what I've got. I've got Vayehi Yaakov. What's that? That's not it. Oh, Memches,
Yeah.
right. Vayehi Acharei. Is that it?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Vayehi Acharei Advarim Ha'ele V'yomer LeYosef Hine Avicha Ha'ele Chale Vayikach Es Shnei Banov Amo Es Menashe Ve'es Ephraim. Further?
No, let's stop with that. So what's the translation of this here?
Sorry, say it again.
Yes. What is the pasuk teaching us here? Let's take a look here.
Well, it translates to,
Right.
it came to pass after these things that one said to Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim.
Well, right.
His father is sick. Where was Joseph was still not the king. What do you call him?
Viceroy.
The viceroy. And he was obviously he wasn't then living with his family. He couldn't be.
Yeah, his family was in Goshen, and Joseph was preoccupied with his running the country. So, good morning, Barry.
Good morning.
Morning.
Couldn't he send a message? Joseph? A courier? Something?
No, it was the message came to Joseph that his father was sick.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about why Joseph didn't contact Yaakov.
No, Joseph
For
didn't.
all the years he was in Mitzrayim. Couldn't he send a messenger?
They
Right,
didn't have UPS in those days.
No, probably the reason is that people couldn't get out of Egypt. It was a closed prison, basically.
Oh, no,
Goshen was part of Egypt, wasn't it?
no, Joseph could have sent an official courier to Bathsheba. That wouldn't. Joseph had the power to send a courier to his father. But the Ramban deals with this question, and basically he answers the question that Joseph had the prophecies of the dreams to fulfill. So therefore, he didn't say this because in order to fulfill the prophecy of the dreams.
He couldn't contact him until the prophecies were fulfilled.
Apparently,
Uh-huh.
apparently.
Well, I mean, it's also possible that if he would have contacted him, the prophecies would have been fulfilled earlier. Maybe the contacting would have been the catalyst to make it happen sooner.
Um,
I don't know.
could be. That's speculation. We'll never know.
But
But here
Rashi,
in this week's Parsha, where it says Perek Mem Ches, the first pasuk, which Roy just read.
and there's a Rashi on it.
Yes, let's look at the Rashi.
Pasuk Mem Tes.
Perek Mem Ches, pasuk Aleph.
V'tashlum, yes,
Right.
Gamul, Elna,
No. Pasuk Aleph. The Rashi on pasuk Aleph, right?
what am I looking at? Oh, sorry, right, Aleph, Memches Aleph, I'm looking wrong. V'yomer leYosef, Echad min Hamanidim,
Magidim. What are the Magidim?
What is it? Oh, Gidim. So Gimel, is it?
Yeah,
Ma-
Magidi. The Magid is someone who's
Oh, yeah.
someone who tells things over.
V'harei ze mikro kotzer. Vav yud aleph. What's that?
It's a pasuk which is shortened. It's a terse, very terse pasuk. This.
Ephraim haya rego lifnei Yaakov betalmud. So yeah, all right. So he was learning regularly the Talmud.
Right. No, that Ephraim. Yosef had two sons, right? Menashe and Ephraim.
Yeah.
Ephraim was rugged. He was routinely in front by Yaakov and learning. He was there by Yaakov and learning.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget, Menashe and Ephraim, they didn't have the advantage of the other grandchildren. That the other grandchildren grew up with the influence of Yaakov Avinu, right? And Menashe and Ephraim, they were growing up in Mitzrayim, so they didn't have the advantage of the influence and environment and the teachings of Yaakov Avinu. So Ephraim took advantage of that, and Yaakov Avinu now came down to Mitzrayim, so Ephraim was routinely by Yaakov Avinu to learn by him. Quite a important thing. So then what happened? Rashi continues.
Ucheshachalo Yaakov be'eretz Goshen. Halech Ephraim Etzel Aviv LeMitzrayim LeHagid Lo. Yeah, that's
So
it.
what happened?
Well, here it says that he said to Joseph that the he means one of the messengers. It's an elliptical phrase. Some say that Ephraim was regularly with Yaakov for study, and when Yaakov became ill in the land of Goshen, Ephraim went to his father in Egypt and reported it to him.
So that means that Ephraim was with Yaakov.
Right. But then if you look at the pasuk, right, it says the pasuk, if you remember, says V'yikach es shnei banav imai, that's Menashe and that's Ephraim. So now, according to what Rashi said, when Ephraim came back to Yosef and told Yosef that his father was sick, so the pasuk says that Yosef took his two sons with him, Menashe and Ephraim. Okay, what did he do that for? Rashi continues.
Where am I continuing? On the
Yeah, V'yikach es shnei banav imo. He took his two sons with him.
I'm reading base now, am I? Or
No. In Rashi, go back to the.
so, okay. Right. Yigad Hamagid. Well, I haven't read base yet, and this is
No. We're still in the Rashi and Aleph.
right.
V'yikach es shnei banav imo. And he took his two sons with him. Rashi and Aleph. There you have it.
Yeah, didn't I finish reading the last now?
No.
No, so I can't find it yet. Vayikach es shani banov amo. Is that it?
That's right.
The day sheyiborechem Yaakov lifnei Moso. I don't know what that means. You'll have the translation.
You could read it in English if you want.
I haven't got the English translation.
Oh. Kadei sheyivarachem Yaakov lifnei Moshe. So why did Yosef take his two sons, Ephraim and Menashe, to see Yaakov, his father? In order sheyivarachem Yaakov lifnei Moshe, that Yaakov Avinu, so they should get Ephraim and Menashe should get a bracha from their grandfather Yaakov Avinu before he would pass on. You see here, this is something I want to discuss a little bit, that the Barry, what do you think? It seems like there's a great emphasis in the Torah about brachas, no?
Yeah.
Right. That's why Yaakov went to his father to get a bracha.
Right.
It was that was a tremendous event. But I wanted to ask the fact that Yosef took Ephraim and Menashe to get a bracha and also to become part of the tribes. Was that predicted in Yosef's dreams? That part about extra people being added to the tribes?
Not that I know of. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. This I don't know.
So this we don't know if this is a fulfillment of one of Yosef's. This part is a fulfillment of Yosef's dreams.
Yeah, not necessarily so.
Yeah, not necessarily, but when his brothers bowed down to Yosef, so to speak, that was a fulfillment.
Right.
I'd like to know the idea of a bracha in the days in those days and the idea of a bracha in these days. Are they different, or the bracha has multiple reasons, or what? What's the standing of the bracha then and now?
Right. Essentially, I don't think is essentially too much difference between earlier generations and our generation, except in perhaps the power of the bracha, the intensity of the bracha to be fulfilled.
Uh-huh.
But what you're really asking is, I think, is we have to first understand what the whole point of a bracha is. That a bracha is a bracha like a tefillah? Is that a prayer? Is a bracha a prayer? Right? And if it is, what's different? And if it's not, what's the difference between a bracha and a prayer?
A bracha, you're addressing Hashem, asking directly from Hashem. With davening, you're just you're not specifically addressing Hashem for something. You're pointing out that you are aware of this or aware of that, and you hope it continues or something.
Right. So
Is it in Hirsch's etymological dictionary?
Yeah.
He says that the shorish of barach means to increase growth or prosperity.
So if you increase something, it's got to be there to start off with, minimally, but it's there.
Yeah, well, everybody has their mazel that they're born with. So if you get a bracha, you're energizing the mazel that Hashem gave you. Everybody starts off with quite a bit of brachas from Hashem. And so, and then when you get a bracha from your father or Rebbe or whatever, so that's kind of like adding on to what you already have. Person's like a seed, and
And when you say Yivarechecha Hashem, Yivarecha, when you're blessing your children, are you giving them something? Are you giving them something new, or are you trying to activate something that's there?
Well, according to the Shorish of Baruch, it would be that you're adding on to what they already have.
Exactly. Because Baruch Hu is the source of everything, the source of all bracha. Right. So, in a certain way, we can maybe view a bracha as sort of just directing that source to a more specific channel. Right. We'll see. We'll get to some of the brachas of that Yaakov gave. So all the influence of the spiritual potentials come into this world and are manifest in physical forms, and that's due to the ratzon of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the will of Kadosh Baruch Hu. So where do we play a part of interjecting our brachas in this process? So when a person, and this we've mentioned several times before, the Marsha in Marcos says that every thought, word, and deed that a person does in this world creates malachim, right? Creates malachim. Malachim are basically, let's call them spiritual forces, okay? Spiritual forces. So these spiritual forces, once created, will have at the proper time and the proper place, according to Kadosh Baruch Hu's ratzon as well, will have an influence on what's occurring in this world. So when a person's going to give a bracha, which is in a certain way a prayer, right? In a certain way, it's a prayer. But it's a little bit different than a standard prayer where we beseeching Kadosh Baruch Hu for something. But the influence of a bracha on a person is to focus their attention and our attention on certain aspects of their life, right? So, for example, when we say, when a person gives his blessings to his children, that his children should be Ephraim and Menashe. So, if it's taken seriously, a person will try and investigate and understand what does it mean to be like Ephraim and Menashe. A father's giving a bracha, for example, to his sons, his children. They should be like Ephraim and Menashe. If they're girls, Kesar, Rachel, Leah, like the Imahs. So, as I said, if a person's going to take that seriously, they'll give thought to what that means. What does it mean to be like Sarah? What does it mean like to be like, right, Rivka, Rachel, Leah? What does it mean to be like these great personalities in all ways possible, right? What does it mean to be like Ephraim and Menashe? Right, so it should focus a person's attention, onto things that he should be thinking about and trying to emulate these things. Right, when a person is given a bracha, he should be a gibor. Right, he wants to be a mighty person. Right, he wants to be you give him a person to be a gibor. So you're giving him. It's not a command. You're not commanding him to be a gibor. But you're trying to call forth the potentials that he has to be a gibor in himself, and to focus those energies and to bring it from potential to actual realization. Right. So that's how I understand a bracha. A bracha is a device by where a person's called upon to focus on these things that the bracha contains, and that will allow him, through that focus, through that concentration, to achieve these things which the bracha is designed to elicit, to invoke.
To catalyst.
Very good, perfect. It's a catalyst,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, that's a good way to put it, exactly.
So when you make a bracha for someone to get well, they've got potential inside them somewhere, no matter how small, to get well. But you're asking Hashem to activate it and to utilize it.
Right. Which is a bit different than praying for a person to pray for his refuah. You can pray for a person's refuah, but when you give him a bracha that he should have, he should have a refuah shalema. So it should be eliciting, invoking. It should be a catalyst to invoke all those potentials, which would allow him to have a refuah shalema.
So have we lost this today?
No, I don't think so. As I said, I don't think at all. No, definitely not. But it might be less potent than the previous generations, because, again, most of these things, just as with tefillah, with prayers, the potential for the prayer to be accepted and fulfilled, and I think also the bracha, depends on the concentration of the person who, in the case of prayer, the person who's praying, his amount of true wholehearted kavanah in making this bracha, or in the prayer. So if he has more concentration, he'll have more success for the bracha or for the prayer. So in our times, when we don't have that degree of concentration and intensity that they did in earlier generations, so our power of prayer, our power of bracha is a little bit more diffuse, a little bit more diluted. So it may not be as intense as previous times, but it certainly can be effective, definitely so.
Rebbe, why don't we, if we want to give a bracha to our children or grandchildren, why don't we give them the bracha that Yitzhak gave to Yaakov? That
Right.
is really powerful.
Yeah.
That's like a nuclear bracha.
Yeah. Right.
What was
So
that bracha? I forgot.
What?
What was the wording of that? What was the wording of that bracha?
Oh, you should have the dew of the land and,
Oh, no.
prosperity and be rich. And, it's a whole big, it's a great bracha to get, right? If you're going to give brachas, let's go to the big one.
yeah, well, there's a bit of a difference. Those brachas are really brachas which have to do with Gashmias. If you look at them, right, they have to do with Gashmias.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I was going to ask what was in there that was kedusha. That was sort of to do with religion.
Right.
Yes.
So that's a question which is asked and dealt with, but in general, the approach is that these brachas that were given in terms of Gashmias, because they were only given in order that the ruchnius of the person could be successful and be able to learn and be able to do mitzvahs, right? They're not simply just giving out dimes, on the election path right there. So we want that the brachas should be given to a person that they should be able to use it to serve Hashem much better and more easy, perhaps, than before.
That should be part of the bracha too, then.
Yeah, but it's sort of
Rather than being implicit.
yeah, it's basically implicit. It's basically implicit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our concentration. So therefore, when a person is going to give a bracha, right? It's one of the reasons is why it's explained that in the Sefer Tamim and Hogim, on this forum as well. Why specifically when we come home from shul on Friday nights is that the time when we bless the children, right?
Mm.
So it's because number one, a person is should be at least theoretically in a good mood, should be in a good proper frame of mind, which is very important in both prayer and in brachas. So that be in a proper frame of mind. That's one of the reasons why it's explained why did Yitzhak, when he wanted to give the brachas ostensibly to Esav, why did he ask him to go out and get food for him and bring it back? So that would put Yitzhak in a better frame of mind to give the brachas.
Wow.
So Friday night, a person should be in a situation of serenity and happiness that he's now he prepared for Shabbos, and now it's Shabbos, and as we know, when we learned previously, the table's set, the candles are lit, the bread is on the table, cooked fresh or bought from the store. The food is warm on the blach, and Baruch Hashem, the house is neat and set up, and he comes home to a house which is in many ways similar in certain ways to the base of Mikdash even. So therefore, he's in a very good mood. So therefore, at that specific point in time, when a person's in a very good mood, we want that he should be able to give the brachas, because the brachas will have more effect and create more potentials to be fulfilled. Right? Because that'll be the intensity of the bracha, the greater intention, concentration in the bracha, the greater possibility it'll elicit and be a catalyst for all those potentials that exist within the person.
Sorry, I've got I'm off on a tangent here, but it just occurred to me when you said that Yitzhak had sent off Esav to get some food for him to put him in a good mood.
Right.
Was Yitzhak sort of a bit had reservations about giving a bracha to Esav? Was he?
No, I don't think so. I think he honestly intended to give the brachas to Esav. That's a whole different subject matter to discuss why that should be. And that doesn't mean he wasn't intending to give brachas to Yaakov either. He definitely planned to give brachas to Yaakov. There's no doubt about it in my mind that he was planning to give brachas to Yaakov as well.
Yeah.
Right? It just
I think
happens.
I think I think what Roy is saying is that how could Yaakov? I mean, how could Yitzhak not know the true personality of Esav about giving him this bracha? I mean, did you know? I mean, Yitzhak was not a fool. He was He was one of the greatest people in Jewish history. Yeah, how could he be fooled by Esav
Yeah,
to give a bracha?
I understand it clearly that he wasn't fooled. He wasn't fooled at all. I don't know that it was fooled at all. I mean, there may be some that do, but I don't understand how they can adopt such a an attitude. I think that Yitzhak was very well aware of who and what Esav was.
So why that's what I always struggle with. Why didn't he say to Esav, listen, you know, I have to give the brachas to Yaakov because he sits and he learns and he's a mensch, you know, he makes a bracha before he eats, you know what I mean? He's not kidnapping women like you. So I'm going to give the brachas to Yaakov and you'll hang around.
Yeah, don't forget I said that I'm going off on a tangent here. So if we want to, fine, but maybe maybe you want to get back to the
Okay.
Well, okay, but maybe just trying to just quickly maybe to answer the question that again, definitely Yitzhak was going to give brachas to Yaakov, definitely, no doubt about it, right? Why then did he want to give brachas to Esav at all, right? Because again, if we understand a bracha to be that catalyst, right? That catalyst to, right, elicit the potentials of a person and bring them out into reality, right? So Yitzhak was convinced that Esav could in fact
change.
Not only change, but he had the potentials within him that he could be successful in the way Hashem created him to be successful. Kadosh Baruch Hu creates everybody in this world to be successful, and he gives them all the abilities, and mental abilities, physical abilities, psychological, emotional abilities, to spiritual abilities to fulfill his mission in life. Everyone's created with a certain mission. Right? Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't just bring people into this world for them to, climb Mount Everest and to sail the 7 seas. I mean, what after that's done? What happens, right? So everyone's brought into this world to achieve spiritual greatness and have spiritual achievements which are lasting and eternal. And Esav, no less than anybody else, especially a grandson of Yaakov Avinu, and he had so many tremendous potentials. But you should realize, whenever there's tremendous potential, there's also tremendous potential in the opposite way as well, right?
And responsibility.
Yeah.
The bigger your potential, the bigger your responsibility is to fulfill your mission.
Right. Now what
a Rebbe once told me, I think I read it somewhere in the Yaakov Loas, it says that when we go to Shemayim at the end of our days, they show you a movie of your life. And then after they show you the movie of your life, then they show you a movie of what your life would have been had you fulfilled your mission.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So so try your best. At least try your best. And so look, but what we can ask, and what we can ask Barry and Roy, but what we can't answer right now is what was the apparent discrepancy between Yitzchak's attitude towards Esav and Rivka's attitude towards Esav.
Yeah.
this is something which has to be understood, because Yitzhak definitely intended to give brachas to Esau, right? And Rivka definitely intended that those brachas should not be given to Esau, right? So that's something which we can discuss some other time. I'm not prepared to discuss it because I haven't thought it through so well to really broach the subject properly. But again, and you should also realize that Rivka didn't find out these things on her own. She was told these things. How did she find out that Yitzhak was about to give brachas to Esau? Right? Rashi, if I'm not mistaken, says that there was a malach, or she was given some type of a nevuah, a prophecy, and she heard what Yitzhak was saying to Esau. So that's how she found out about it, right? So if that's the case, that means Min Hashemayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu also didn't want those brachas to go to Esau. Right? If Rivka didn't, if Rivka didn't know about Yitzhak sending Esau off to get food and to tell him that he's going to give you the brachas, if Rivka didn't know about that, so Esau would have gotten the brachas. And how did Rivka know that? She knew that through some type of a prophecy. That Kadosh Baruch Hu gave her that prophecy. Okay?
I think it was also, I think the Yaakov Noah says that Esav had a special outfit that he wore for hunting, and he went to his mother and said she kept all his special stuff because he didn't trust anybody else, and he got this special garment that he used for hunting that belonged to Nimrod or something, and so he says, I need my hunting outfit. So then she got alerted that something was up.
Right. So that's something we have to discuss sometime or other. What was the two different attitudes towards Esau? Yitzchak's attitude towards Esau, and Rivka's attitude towards Esau. So that, as I said, I'm not prepared to explain that properly yet. So we'll have to just leave that for another time, resolution.
Yeah,
Roy, add that to the calendar for next year.
There's another question too, which I don't want an answer for it now, but it's something that occurred to me, and that is, if Rivka didn't want the Yitzchak's bracha to go to Esav, what did she and to go to Yaakov instead? What did she intend? What did she think about the bracha that was supposed to go to Yaakov? What would happen to that? What was she thinking about that one? That would be a loose a bracha was at her home. Okay, that's it. No more.
You sure? Yeah. If you have another question or two, I'm happy to answer the question.
Good question.
When you answer that question, you can also answer the question: why does Yitzchak say, "I have no bracha for you," when he had that bracha already prepared?
Right. Yeah.
Because he used it up. When he said, "I have no bracha for you," he meant the bracha I intended for you, I used for Yaakov. So I don't have that bracha anymore.
But he had the bracha that he intended for Yaakov that he could give to
That
him.
wasn't suitable for Esau.
Right. That's right. That's exactly, Roy. What he had left was not meant for, it wasn't good for Asa.
Mm.
But that's not what he says.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. As Barry said, we'll save it for another time. Maybe next year. Maybe before. We'll see.
I'm putting it on the Google calendar.
Oh, there he goes. That's right. Schedule a send in another 11 months from now. Be'ezras Hashem.
Wait, it's an Ibur. It'll be longer.
That's right. 12 months from now. 12 months.
So I have to be careful. I don't want to get reminded, too early. Then I'll forget about it.
Right. Okay. Let's now. So you see from this Rashi that when Yosef heard that his father was sick, so he took his two sons. Kedei, as Rashi says, Shivarachem Yaakov lifnei Moshe. That Yaakov should give them a bracha before he is passing on. Right?
Ah,
So,
he knew?
well, it was understood that if he's sick, so it could be he didn't know exactly when he would be going. But as you see, take a look at the next psukim. It didn't happen at that particular point. What happened? Let's look at the next pasuk again. Mem ches, perik mem ches siv beis.
Yeah.
Maybe someone else can read now. You don't mind?
I'll read. Vayigad Liakov.
Yeah.
Vayigad Liakov. He said to Yaakov, Va'omar hinei bincha Yosef bo. Yosef has come elecha to you.
Right.
V'yischazek Yisrael vayeshev al hamita, and he sat on his bed.
Right. Let's continue on.
Vayomer Yaakov el Yosef El Shaddai Nirolai. Hashem appeared to me. El Shaddai appeared to me. Beluz. Beluz. Be'eretz Canaan. In the land of Canaan. Vayavorech oti. And I got a bracha.
Right.
Vayomer, and he said, Vayomer alai, Hineni, Mafrecha v'hir bitecha. Period. Oh, like Paris, like fruit, pre.
So it's
Mifricha and v'hir bitecha, and I will make you great.
yeah. This who's saying to who over here in pasuk Dalet? Yomer Eli. Who's saying to who?
Yaakov is saying to Yosef.
Let's take a look.
Vayomer Yaakov el Yosef El Shaddai Niralai Beluz v'Aretz Canaan Vayavorech oti, and he blessed me.
Right.
No, it's Hashem speaking.
No, but Yaakov is relating what happened to him.
He's relating what Hashem, he says, he said to me. Hashem
Right.
said to me.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
Hashem said, and this is the bracha that Hashem gave to Yaakov.
Yeah. We see when he and Hashem blessed me. V'yomer, and he said Eli, and this was that was apparently the bracha that Hashem gave to Yaakov
To
Avinu.
Yaakov, right. That's the bracha he gave to Yaakov.
Right.
V'hineni mifrecha v'hir b'techa. I'll make you, prosperous or whatever, and great, like Rav. Unataticha lekahel imecha, and I'll make you into a nation or a gathering of people.
Right.
Vinotati et horetz hazos v'zarecha. And I'll give you land, l'recha, to your seed, to your descendants. Acharecha are going to come after you. Achuzas olam, forever.
Right. Continue on. So
V'ata,
this is all Yitzchak saying to Yosef, right?
this is what? Pardon me.
This is all this is everything that Yaakov is saying to Yosef, and he's
Correct.
quoting the bracha that,
Right,
that he got from HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Right. V'ata, and now. Okay, so now, okay. So, v'ata, now this is Yaakov speaking to Yosef. V'ata shenei banecha, so that must be Yaakov speaking to Yosef, your two sons.
Oh,
Right?
V'ata, right. V'ata.
And
now,
right. V'ata, and now shenei banecha, so now Yaakov's talking directly to Yosef. Hanoladim lecha, and your descendants, be'eretz Mitzrayim. Oh no, noladadim, that were born to you in Eretz Mitzrayim.
yes, that's good, right? That they were born there, right?
The reason he said that, Ad boi elecha mimitzrayim. They were born to you in Mitzrayim, Lihaim, Ephraim, Menashe. They're mine. Lihaim, they are to me.
Right.
Ephraim and Menashe. Keruvain v'Shimon, like Reuven and Shimon, my real, my, so to speak, real sons.
Right. Now the question,
Really?
the question I have here now is, again, we were told by Rashi. Rashi said that Joseph took his sons Menashe and Ephraim, right, to get a bracha from Yaakov.
Yeah.
Right? Is this the bracha? Is this the bracha that they were supposed to get? That they're going to become Ephraim and Menashe?
I'm sorry. I didn't understand that really.
Meaning, the statement of Yaakov is, right, that V'yata shnei banecha anolim milcha beretz Mitzrayim ad boi elecha Mitzrayim li hem Ephraim u'Menashe Reuven v'Shimon you li. That's
Right.
the bracha that Yosef expected to get for his sons when he took them to meet Yaakov at this point.
Yeah, but that's a pretty big bracha to say that his two sons are now elevated to being like Yaakov's sons.
No,
Right.
that's not what he expected.
No, I'm not saying that's what he expected, but that's a pretty big bracha. So why wouldn't he expect that? Why wouldn't he be pleased with that? What better bracha could he give to the two sons, Yaakov, than to say they're going to be like my sons? I mean, they're going to be one of the 12 tribes. They're going to be fulfilling, these two boys are going to be included in fulfilling the whole destiny of Avram and Yaakov and me. It's a whole fulfillment. What could be greater than that? Why wouldn't he be? I don't know if he was expecting that. Maybe he was just expecting a little bar mitzvah present. But to get that big bracha, wow, I think it's tremendous. I have no idea what Yosef thought.
Right.
But it doesn't say, but I'm sure he was pleased. He wasn't disappointed.
All right. So let's continue. Good. Okay. Let's keep this point in mind. Let's continue.
Uladeticha and your descendants, Asher Holadata, that are born to you, Acharehem, after them, Lecha, you al Shem Achichem. They will be they will be included in Shema Heichem, Vayikra, V'nachalosem, and they'll be included in the inheritance of their brothers.
Right.
V'nachalosem, in their inheritance. So in other words, they're not going to be one of the 12 tribes, whoever comes afterwards.
Okay.
Va'ani, and this is Yaakov still speaking.
Right.
Va'ani, ba'iti, mipadan, when I came from Padan, Misa alai Rachel. Rachel died. Be'eretz Canaan, bederech ba'od, kivrat eretz. She died on the road from Kivrat. I don't know what that means, Kivrat eretz.
That's in the midst of the land.
Good. Levo, Ephratza.
Oh, okay. So actually, so I will tell you. Let's skip now. Let's skip now to to, so I guess let's skip down to the pasuk Yud Beis.
Yud Beis,
Yeah, pasuk Yud Beis.
Vayotze Yosef Osa, he removed them, Me'im Birchav, he took them, he removed them from his knees. Birchav. Vayishtachu, and he bowed down. La'apov, Atza, and he bowed down to the ground. Yosef bowed down to the ground.
This seems very odd to me because they were a bit too old to be between his knees.
It's
It sounds like they're little boys, but they're not. They're grown men.
yeah. Well, take a look at the Rashi. Look at the Rashi Yud Beis.
Okay. Vayotze Yosef Tom, and Yosef took them out. La'achar shenistokum, and after la'achar shenishkum, that he after he took them out after Yosef gave them the bracha.
Well, that's what I'm trying to deal with here. When did the bracha actually take place?
It seems that it seems like it's saying that Yaakov gave him the bracha and then he removed them.
So let's
Okay.
read the Rashi. Look at Rashi.
V'achar shenishkam hotziam Yosef me'im bircha. Oh, then Yosef took them out from his knees. Kidei yishash bam, so that
Right.
I don't know, to sit them down.
After he had kissed them, right? After he had kissed
Yeah.
them, Hotzi Yosef me'im berchav. They took them out from his knees, and then where were they when they got kissed? Right?
Yeah.
Where were they when they got kissed? So,
Yeah. Question.
right?
Should I continue?
Yes. Continue.
Well, if you go back to pasuk 9, you see that he says, "Please take them to me."
Right.
So it would seem at that point, Yosef takes them out between his knees.
Right, but that's the question. But it's not really clear where they were beforehand.
Well, in pasuk 10, he says he kissed them and hugged them. So
Right.
they had to have come out and come to him so he could kiss them and hug them.
Right.
So it doesn't seem to make much sense.
Right. So
Don't forget, Yaakov was sitting on the edge of the bed, or sitting up anyway.
Right. Yeah. I mean, don't forget, Yaakov was in the bed. So it's really meaning that it's really that it's an expression which means that they were moved closer to approach
Right.
Yaakov.
Between the knees doesn't necessarily mean that he squeezed them between his knees. He was standing up. He
Right.
brought them to Yaakov's bed, so he's standing up. He wasn't sitting when he was talking to his father. They were like huddled, like they were squeezing against him, even though they were grown men. They were, so to speak, it's like it's a expression between his knees. They were huddled with him. And then they came forward. They didn't just run over to the bed. They were being very respectful and waiting for Yaakov to give them a signal of, what he wanted.
Right. Right. So, and at this point, this seems to be the bracha now, right? V'yavorachim, Rashi says, right? Lismoch yadav aleim, to put his hands upon them, v'yavorachim, to give them the bracha, right? So this leads me to the question when the statement was made, Ki Ephraim and Manasseh are going to be like Reuben and Shimon. Was that a bracha or not? That's the question I'm trying to deal with here, right? Because what's coming now is the bracha, apparently, right?
Okay, yeah, all right. So so maybe we could, based on what Rebbe just said, maybe we could say that Yaakov's explaining to Yosef, they're going to be like mine. They shall, they'll. Where's the? Isn't it in the future tense?
I think so.
Yeah, so it's in the future tense.
Right.
Ad ba'alecha Mitzrayim lihem Ephraim and Manasseh Kiruvim. Yeheli, they shall be. They shall be. It hasn't happened yet, but when he gives them this bracha now, that's when he lifts them up to be what he said he was going to do.
Okay.
Right. I mean, he's saying,
right.
Yaakov is saying to Yosef, I am going to make in the next few minutes your two boys like Ephraim and Manasseh, like Shimon and Reuben.
Right. That's very good.
And then he does.
Right.
A few psukim later, he gives the bracha.
Right. Right.
Vayikach Yosef et Shnehem. Yeah. Et Ephraim b'mino u'mishmoel Yisroel. So Ephraim was on Yosef's right, which was facing Yaakov. It's interesting he calls him Yisrael. He's called Yisrael at this point because he's on a higher madrega.
Right.
Right? He's no longer Yaakov, he's Yisrael now.
Right.
Ve'et Menashe Bishmolo on his left, Mimin Yisrael, which was on the left of, which was on the right of Yaakov. Vayagesh Elav.
Right. Now skip down a pasuk.
Yeah.
Says Vav.
Okay. Vayavorech.
Oh.
Vayavorech es et Yosef. Oh, he blessed Yosef.
Well,
Yeah.
this was, I think it's that Yosef was doing the bracha, but this was Yosef's bracha that he was giving.
I'm sorry?
This was Yosef's bracha that he was giving, right?
Yeah, he's giving Yosef a bracha now.
Well, no, I'm not so sure. I don't think so. Take a look. Look at that.
Okay.
Follow the.
All right. Vayavorech es Yosef vayomer Elokim asher hitchalchu avotai my forefathers walked before Hashem.
Yes.
Abraham v'Yitzhak, Elokim haroeh osi, and Hashem is the is my guide.
Right.
Ma'odi ad hayom hazeh, from the beginning to today.
right? Continue on. One more pasuk, and then I guess we'll have to stop.
V'hamalach hagoel oti mikol ra yivorech et hanaorim vayikore bahem shemi v'shem avotai Abraham Yitzchak v'yidgu l'rav b'kerev haaretz. And well, so then he's saying that I'm giving them a bracha in the name of my fathers.
Right. So this obviously, these seem to be the brachas that Yosef was hoping to get from Yaakov. No.
Yes, yeah, that's it. And it's interesting that he's talking to Yosef, giving these two boys a bracha.
Yosef, and Yosef blessed, right? Right? He was giving the bracha to Yosef, and through the bracha to Yosef, right? He gave the bracha to the children as well.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Is that where Rebbe wants?
I think so. I think that's the way it should come out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. We don't have more time. Actually, we could go further with this. It's not enough time to discuss it in full. Okay. Everyone should have a good Erev Shabbos, and we'll hope to see you all beginning of next
Great.
week. Mitzvah.
Okay. Shabbat
Thank
shalom.
you, Rabbi.
Thank you,
Shabbat
everyone. Be
shalom.
well. Thank you, Roy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Lou.